All right, so can love actually stop wars?
Whoa, big question right out of the gate.
I know, right? It sounds kind of naive, like something out of, I don't know, a Disney movie or something.
Yeah, I get it.
But seriously, that's what we're diving into today.
Oh, this is going to be good.
We're looking at this podcast called, get this, Love in Conflict. Can it really stop wars?
Okay, I'm intrigued already.
Specifically, their first episode. It's called The Power of Love in a Divided World. And let me tell you, it gets pretty deep, pretty fast.
Well, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
So we're going to look at historical examples, like times when love maybe kind of sort of had an impact on conflicts.
Okay.
We're going to hear arguments for and against love's power, all that good stuff.
I love a good debate.
Oh, and we're going to hear some personal stories too.
Oh, wow. Okay. Getting personal. I like it.
By the end of this deep dive, you're going to have a whole new perspective on love and conflict, like how they interact,
I'm excited to see where this goes.
Me too. So right off the bat, this podcast defines love in a really interesting way.
Oh. How so?
It's not just about romantic love, hearts and flowers.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking that might be a little too simplistic.
Right. They're talking about compassion, empathy, feeling connected to other human beings, even if they're different from you.
I like that. That makes a lot more sense.
And when it comes to conflict, they're not just talking about wars.
Right, because conflict can be anything, really.
Yeah, like an argument with your roommate.
Exactly. Or like a big political debate online.
All of that. So we're not saying that if we all just hug each other, wars are going to magically disappear.
Yeah, that would be a nice thought, though.
Right. But the question is, can these feelings of love, these connections, actually make the world a more peaceful place?
So the podcast kicks things off by looking at some pretty powerful historical examples.
Oh, like what?
Well, they talk about Gandhi, for example.
Oh, yeah, Gandhi, the Salt March, right.
Exactly. That was a huge nonviolent protest. Thousands of people, all inspired by this shared desire for justice and freedom.
Wow, that's a great example of how love can be a force for change.
Definitely. I mean, you have all these people coming together, standing up for what they believe in, all fueled by this, collective sense of compassion and unity.
And it totally shook things up.
Absolutely. But did the Salt March single-handedly end the British Empire?
Well, no.
Not really. It was a crucial step, for sure, but change takes time,
Yeah, it's never that simple.
And that's the thing that the podcast really highlights, I think. These movements, these acts of love, they're incredibly impactful, but they don't always lead to an immediate end to wars, at least not in the traditional sense.
It's complicated.
It is. And that brings us to, the big question, the heart of the debate. Can love actually lead to peace?
Okay, so what does the podcast say about that?
Well, they present both sides of the argument. They have the optimists.
The believers.
Yeah, exactly. These are the folks who say that if we focus on fostering love, understanding, and collaboration, then violence becomes less likely.
Makes sense to me.
Right. If you can see the humanity in someone, even someone you completely disagree with, it's harder to, want to hurt them.
It's like you're building bridges instead of walls.
Totally. You're opening up the possibility for dialogue and understanding and maybe eventually finding peaceful solutions.
I dig it. But I'm guessing there's another side to this.
Oh, absolutely. Then you have the skeptics.
The realists.
You could say that. They argue that love just isn't enough to deal with all the really deep-rooted causes of conflict. Things like power struggles, fights over resources, historical grievances that go way, way back.
Yeah, those are some pretty heavy issues.
It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a garden hose.
So where does that leave us? Can something as powerful as love really overcome all that stuff?
Well, that's where the personal stories come in. And let me tell you, this is where the podcast gets really powerful.
Oh, this is the part I'm really interested in.
Yeah, it's amazing. You hear from all these different people who have experienced the power of love to create change.
Like on a personal level.
Yeah, exactly. Like people who reconciled with family members after years of estrangement.
Oh.
Or, people from different cultures who built bridges and friendships in the middle of all this conflict.
That takes a lot of courage.
It really does. I mean, imagine choosing love and understanding when you're surrounded by so much hate and division.
So inspiring. It's a good reminder that even small acts of love can make a difference.
Absolutely. But then, it makes you wonder, can we scale that up? Can all these individual acts of love actually contribute to ending wars?
It's a big leap.
It is. And the podcast addresses this by bringing in an expert on conflict resolution.
Oh, cool. Who is it?
They don't actually name them.
Oh, okay. Well, what did the expert have to say?
Their perspective is really nuanced, which I appreciate.
I like nuance. Lay it on me.
So they believe that love can play a crucial role in creating a more peaceful world, but it can't do it alone. It has to be part of a bigger, more strategic approach.
Okay, so love isn't a magic bullet.
Right. It's more like, okay, imagine love is like the fuel.
The energy, the driving force.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you also need a well-designed engine, a good plan.
Strategy.
Exactly. And you need a skilled driver.
Someone who knows what they're doing.
Right. Someone who can navigate all the complexities of conflict.
Okay, I'm following you.
So basically, the expert is saying that love provides the motivation, the why behind working for peace, but you also need the how. You need concrete strategies to make it happen.
So what kinds of strategies are we talking about here?
Well, they mention things like diplomacy and negotiation,
Makes sense.
and even economic incentives, like helping countries build strong economies so they're less likely to go to war.
Interesting.
And the expert also stressed the importance of political will. Basically, having leaders who are genuinely committed to peace and willing to make tough choices to achieve it.
So it's not just about feelings, it's also about action.
Exactly. It's about combining the heart and the mind.
Powerful stuff.
It is. And that brings us back to you, the listener. If love needs this kind of strategic support to work on a global scale, what might those strategies look like in your own life?
Whoa, that's a good question. I'll have to think about that one.
Me too. Like, what can you do in your own community to promote understanding and bridge divide?
What small steps can we take to, make the world a little bit more loving?
Even if it's just one conversation, one act of kindness, one step towards understanding someone different from you.
It all adds up. Wow, this deep dive has been amazing.
It has. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how love and conflict are connected.
Yeah, it's not as simple as I thought.
Yeah,
Love might not be a magic solution to war, but it's definitely a crucial ingredient.
absolutely. It's the driving force behind so many positive changes in the world.
And I love how the expert emphasized that love, combined with smart strategies and a real commitment to action, can actually create lasting change.
It gives me hope.
Me too.
Well.
It's like, yeah, the world's a messy place, but we're not powerless. We can choose love, we can act with intention, and we can make a difference.
Here, here.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive.
Until next time.
Peace out.
Peace out.